What's going on, you guys? Theo here with the big review, back yet again with another King of Fighters All-Star video, and today is the day. The 225 update is upon us, and we are going to be taking a look at everything in this update and break it all down. But before we do, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe, because we have a ton of stuff to go over today, so we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. So, right now, if you log into the game for the first time since the update, you're going to be greeted with this screen where you can select your fighter, and we're going to take a look at who you can select for this super mission. And this time around, the pool is quite a bit different. It's only 2 characters, and it's a pretty easy pick overall, I would say. So basically, you're going to have the choice between Lady Yashiro or Lady Billy. Overall, my opinion on this is pretty easy to decipher. I'm going to tell you guys to all go for Lady Yashiro if you do not already have her at Awakening level 5. She is very, very strong for certain content in PvE, even still to this day, regardless of the fact that she is an older gold border character. So that is going to be the one I'm going to choose, because as you can see there, I am about, I believe, 1 memory away. I think I have one sitting around, so I should be able to awaken her to level 5 now. But we do have a new login streak bonus, as you'll see here. Not anything too insane. Looks like we're going to be getting 200 rubies for that one. But we're going to go ahead today and take a look at all this stuff, and then obviously take a look at the new characters, the new SS stones, and everything that goes along with this update, because there were actually some things added in here that are going to be things that they did not cover in either of the streams. So we're going to have to talk about those things as well. It's not anything that is going to be overly exciting or anything that is going to be too game-breaking, but we are going to take a look at those things. So as you'll see here, this is going to be the new home screen. It's looking real good, especially with Bijane there. Hey, B. But let's go ahead and take a look at the events. So we have 2 events right now going on for this event special page, and it looks like we do have a new score dungeon. So as you'll see here, it is set up the same way as any other score dungeon would be in the game. So if you take a look, we have about 6 days until the SP part of the dungeon opens up, and you'll see down there at the bottom the bonus reward characters and cards. But overall, this is going to be for the ladies, so pretty interesting that they decided to do this, coming for our AP yet again. For the mileage rewards for this, you are going to have the ultimate goal be this fest ticket. It is for a random fest from the general pool, and it is going to be up to date with all the current fests that are in the game for the unified banner. And then down here, you're going to see the rest of the item rewards, which are pretty nice overall, I would say. Not anything in here that is a big change from what we've come to expect from these different score dungeons, as we've been getting a ton of these lately. But it's nice to see this back. I know some people don't like these, but I'd always appreciate them, because especially right now with this new banner, rubies are always appreciated, and some of those item rewards are pretty nice as well. So I would wait, obviously, until the SP opens up, but that's just my opinion. So moving on here, this is going to be the new PvE co-op mode. We've already taken a look at this in the past, but one thing we did not see was the rewards, and the rewards for this are not anything too special. They're pretty generic overall, I would say. We don't even have gold hammers in either of these. I'll actually show you guys. So as you can see here, there's not even any gold hammers for this thing. So overall, I would say that this guy is kind of a mixed bag, but I expected that, being that it's a beta. Now, we're going to go ahead and test this out with a couple of friends later on in probably a separate video, because we have plenty to go over today. But as you'll see here, if you type on the little pad there that is going to have enter code, you'll see the different connections to the different servers. And yeah, this is looking a lot like Championship, isn't it? So good luck getting with your friends that are overseas or elsewhere that are too far away for you to get good connection. But you'll have the chance to create a game, join a game, or enter a code. So that's going to be the 3 different options you have for this. Again, we'll go into this more in depth when we don't have a full update to break down, but pretty interesting. I'm excited to go into it, even if it is a giant lag fest. But yeah, so let's go ahead now and we'll take a look at the new dice game. It is going to be a Lady Big dice game, it looks like, and this little Lady Big sprite is adorable up there in the top corner. I love that. That's cute. But yeah, this is going to be your kind of rewards for your repeats, and not anything in here too groundbreaking. You're going to get a couple of summon tickets, and then overall it looks like you're going to get about 100 rubies. So not anything too crazy, but definitely make sure you do this. I'll actually show you guys under your event tab here in a moment. You can actually earn yourself some extra dice for this. If you look here, if you take a look, you'll be able to get some more dice from using the secret shop, clearing the weekly battle card dungeon, and playing time attack. So just for doing your general daily stuff, you'll get some more dice. It looks like that's about 700 more. So overall, not anything that is groundbreaking or going to change anything, but it's nice that we have a dice game back. Now, next thing is going to be this Lady Chang Rouette. This is pretty exciting for those of you who do not have her. I would definitely make sure that you take advantage of this, especially now that she has her buffs. She is going to be much better. But these are going to be the rates for your spins, not anything changed from your normal kind of day-to-day roulette that you would have. And then if you take a look here, you're going to be able to craft her memories up to 7 times to fully awaken her. For me personally, I think I am 2 memories away from awakening level 5 on her, so I'm pretty excited to be able to finish her up. I will show you guys something, though, that you'll want to make sure that you take advantage of, but definitely do your free ads. Make sure you get those extra tickets for extra spins as well. But actually, if you go down here to your soul quest, my suggestion to you guys, if you already have a copy of Lady Chang, as always, is to take advantage of the soul quest with her each day. Make sure that you do your normal runs as well as your free ad run with her each day, because right now we actually have up here, you'll see the item gain rate increase for the soul quest, so you'll get more souls right now for doing that, and that is going to come in handy for crafting memories for her. So that is pretty much going to be the general part of the update. Let's move on to the characters, because that is inevitably why you guys are here, wondering if you should be pulling on these characters. So let's go ahead and take a look. Now, these are going to be the banners. We're going to have the SS Summon banner for the fighters, and then we're going to have the SS Summon banner for the cards, and we're going to break both of them down. But the first thing we want to take a look at here is going to be the fighters, of course, and then we'll move on to their cards. So taking a look here, you'll see that this is going to be your fighter banner. Both characters looking pretty good. There were a few minor nerfs to one of these characters from what we saw in the Korean stream we'll talk about, but taking a look here, you're going to see that you will have both characters here on the same rates as your typical BS or collab banner. So you're going to be seeing the 0.6% for these characters, as well as a couple of other fests in here. It's looking like the ladies are represented, and this is going to be pretty much up to date, minus the fact that it does not have Mian. However, it does have Elizabeth in here. So overall, this is going to be what you're looking at for your characters here. You're going to have several spoilers, but fortunately, the rates are higher for the 2 SS characters than they are for your normal Fest characters on here. But taking a look at the mileage, not much surprises here. It's pretty much going to be the same as what you would normally come to expect from one of these banners. You are going to have your pity at 20 multis, so basically you are going to need to invest 18k rubies in order to get to a full pity, at which point you can pick one of the 2 SS fighters from your pity ticket. So overall, that's what you're looking at there. Let's take a look now at the first character that we're going to talk about, which is Athena. So her leadership skill is going to increase purple element fighters attack by 45% and power charge rate by 20%. A very, very powerful leadership skill for this Athena. Now, obviously, this is the Athena I feel like we've been talking about forever. This is her KoF 13 design, and she's looking pretty good. I know this isn't everybody's favorite Athena, but it's okay. Now, as far as her cores, 60% freeze duration decrease, 2.4% critical rate increase, 1050 attack increase, decreases strike skill damage received by 6%, 8% strike skill attack damage increase, and a 1520 defense increase. Then you get into her 2 exclusive cores, which are going to be a 70% chance to reset the cooldown of Psycho Ball attack upon landing Phoenix Arrow EX on a cooldown of 15 seconds, and deals additional damage equal to 100% of her attack upon landing a critical hit on a target in Starlight. Next up, she has number 1 Fighting Idol. That's going to give her super armor for 4 seconds when attacking an enemy in Starlight on a cooldown of 15 seconds. And then she has the SS exclusive, which gives her 1% power every 0.3 seconds during special signature guard, and decreases damage received by 70% for 3 seconds when accumulated attack received, guard included, reaches 5 times on a cooldown of 20 seconds. So those are going to be your cores. Pretty good overall. Not anything that is too much of a surprise from what we gathered from the stream. Again, we had those translations thanks to Steven, and they proved to be pretty much accurate for the most part. There were a couple of small tweaks, like I said, upon release, but looking at her S1 Cycle Ball attack, she's going to deal radiant damage for 7 seconds upon a hit, which is going to mean that the target receives starlight damage equal to 35% of attack every 1 second, and increases damage received by 15%. And she's going to increase attack by 46% of defense for 8 seconds when using a skill. Next up on Phoenix Arrow EX, her S2, she's going to increase attack by 35% for 5 seconds, and decrease damage received by 75% for 3 seconds. So already, you're seeing that she is pretty tanky, and when we get to her finisher card, you're going to see that that actually increases from there, because she is a very tanky little defense character. But overall, these first 2 skills are very nice. We now know what the superior starlight is called. It's called Radiant, so pretty interesting. On her S3 Super Psychic Throw EX, she's going to get Hyper Armor, which is super armor and damage immunity for 3 seconds, with a 40% chance to reset the cooldown when using a skill on a cooldown of 18 seconds, and this is an interrupt, so you can interrupt with that. And then finally, with her core finisher, her Psychic 9 EX, she's going to deal starlight damage equal to 29% of attack to the target every 1 second for 7 seconds when a successful skill ends. So those are going to be the kit for this Athena. We'll take a look at the skill preview and check all these out. She's a pretty quick, tanky little character with some pretty nice starlight apps. Definitely has more starlight apps as far as what she is able to do with her starlight than the current starlight pool, and I'm sure that that is going to be kind of the selling point for most people with her. Overall, I would say she's definitely, with the SS stones, which we are going to talk about after we talk about the characters and the cards, going to be very powerful. But I think that if you already have a fully built up Elizabeth, that this character is still going to be an upgrade, but it is a marginal upgrade if you have her fully built, only in the capacity that it is going to be a bit of a steep investment for you to try and match an A5 Elizabeth to her, because you're going to have to invest a lot of rubies. However, I do think she is an upgrade in a big way. So it's one of those things where if you have the rubies laying around and Athena's one of your favorites, or you're somebody that really does prioritize guild raid, this is going to be a character you're obviously going to want. From the friends that I have that already have both these characters at Awakening level 5, they are pretty impressed with her, but they don't believe that she is anything extremely broken for that mode. So keep that in mind. It's one of those things where she will be an upgrade, but she isn't going to be such an upgrade to where it is going to be heartbreaking if you do not have her. However, right now, with a shallow pool of Starlight characters, my opinion of this is that she is going to be a character that if you do want to prioritize those stones and guild raid lunatic, you're going to want to pick her up. And I'm probably going to be trying pretty hard for both these characters. However, I definitely think I am going to be wanting more of the Mai than the Athena for now, especially considering the fact that we know we're going to be able to get these memories later on in different ways, which we have data mines that we are not going to have time to talk about in this video. That's going to have to be for a separate video. But there are some data mines, and that asset for these memories for the SS characters is already in the data files. Some people actually have a visual glitch right now where they can actually see them, which is interesting. So we shouldn't have to wait very long. I think that with these characters overall, we'll talk about my overall opinions here at the end, but I feel like you should, with the lament of us getting those memories at some point, probably consider going for these characters at least to Awakening level 3 if you have the ability. Now, talking about Mai, though, we'll come back to that. She's going to increase female fighters' attack by 60% and decrease their HP by 5%. So that's her leadership skill. Pretty strong. It's kind of a mini version of what Iori has on Orochi Iori as far as his leadership skill goes. I would say that it's definitely going to be more of a leadership skill. Is going to be niche overall, just because it's only for lady fighters. So keep that in mind. You're not going to be able to use her as just a good general overall leader, whereas with Athena, her leadership skill is extremely strong. But again, it comes down to what characters you're using in what mode. But this Mai is extremely good. We're going to talk about why here, but her power gain is going to give her 30% power charge rate increase. She's going to have the 6,300 max HP increase, an increase to attack by 1050, a 15% burn attack damage increase, an 8% strike skill attack damage increase, 256 penetration increase, and then her exclusive cores are going to, on her first one with Sincere Heart, give 50% chance to reset the cooldown of strike active skills upon landing her Suichi no Mai on a cooldown of 20 seconds, and she gets freeze immunity. And then finally, number 1 female ninja increases active skill damage dealt to burned enemies by 50%, and she gains burn immunity. And then finally, she has the SS exclusive, which we've already talked about with Athena, which is going to give her the power gain for guard and then decrease her damage received for 70% for 3 seconds when her accumulated attacks received, guard included, reaches 5 on a cooldown of 20 seconds. So those are her cores. Getting into her effects on her skills, she's going to have Hyper Armor on her S1, which is damage immunity and super armor for 3 seconds, deals burn damage equal to 34% of attack every 1 second for 7 seconds upon landing a hit, and this is an interrupt. On her S2, she is going to increase attack by 35% for 6 seconds, apply Infernal Flame to the target for 6 seconds upon a successful attack, and deals damage equal to 30% of attack every 1 second, decreasing their critical rate by 80% and defense by 30%. So Infernal Flame is the superior burn dot. Very, very nice that she has it, and it really adds to her damage ramp. Next up, she is going to have on her S3, decreases damage received by 50% for 3 seconds, increases attack by 28% for 7 seconds upon landing a skill, and decreases the enemy's power charge rate by a whopping 50%, and then she has a 70% chance to ignore the target's guard upon landing a successful attack. So that is going to be what you're looking at on the skills. This character, for the friends of mine that already have her at Awakening level 5 with fully maxed out stones, they have pretty much indicated to me that they have done the side-by-side comparisons between her and some of the heaviest hitters in the game, including Boss Syndrome Omega Rugal, and she looks to be doing more damage than pretty much all of them. So this is pretty much a damage nuke. She is the type of character that just goes, if I touch you, you die. That's kind of where she's coming from with things. But this character, if you are a Mai fan, be very, very happy. Of course, this was the character that was voted on by the community as the character that everybody wanted to see get a fess, and she definitely lives up to that role. She is a character that I feel like if you do not already have the Burn Squad, you're going to want her, but even then, I believe she is a firm upgrade over the Burn Squad. Even Rachel, at this point, if you include the SS stones on her, which again we are going to get into after we go over both these banners, because that'll be the last subject of today's video. So overall, we kind of thought coming into this that Athena might be the chase, but it's looking like Mai is definitely going to be the one that you are going to want on your team. And my suggestion to you guys at this point, on the characters at least, if we were talking should you summon, I think this is definitely worth 1 pity. Get as many memories as you can on that 1 pity. Try to get both these characters, at least if you can get them to Awakening level 1, because you then can later on at this point get the memories to further awaken them if you're somebody on a budget. If you're not on a budget, you're probably, my opinion on this, if you're not on a budget, go for these characters until Awakening level 3 so that you can get the stones, and then you can stop from that at that point, because those stones, as we will talk about and cover, are very, very strong and very good. So that's overall going to be what I think of Mai and Athena. I think this is definitely a pull for everyone. It just depends on how much you're investing at that point. Again, people with a small pool will want to just go with the 1 pity, and then people with a ton of rubies to spend or whales, then definitely minimum 3, up to 5, up to you. So moving on to the cards here, these are going to be your rates. As you'll see here, you're going to have pretty much the same rates we've gotten accustomed to. We have a new set, we have 2 new finishers, and a new option. Starting with the set, though, this is going to increase defense by 7%, and then the effect is going to increase attack equal to 50% of defense, 30% chance to deal additional damage equal to 180% of defense upon landing an active skill, and decreases damage received by 60% if a defense-type fighter's HP is 20% or less. So that is what you're looking at as far as this new set. Very, very powerful, in my opinion. It is going to be on par with pretty much an upgrade to Kaya, and basically merges some of the best points of Kaya and Akane together in a way, if you really think about it, being that it has that explosion on there at 180% of defense. So even on a 30% chance, this is going to be really powerful. It's very unfortunate that the rates on these types of card banners are kind of sus. It's very tough, especially once you've gotten 1 or 2 parts of these sets, to get the third, because there's no way to pinpoint them. And at that point, you pretty much end up in a position where you're going to have to kind of just go to pity and hope that you can just do it that way. But this is a really good set, guys. I think this is pretty much a straight Kaya upgrade, if I had to be honest with you guys. Time will tell, but definitely this set is really, really good. And I think that in PvP especially, if you slap this on a character like Psyche, it is going to do wonders and be very powerful. But even then, being able to put this on Athena with how tanky she already is, especially being that she's going to be very popular in Guild Raid Lunatic, putting this on her is only going to advance her tankiness, which is going to give her survivability a huge bump, especially when we talk about her finisher, which is also going to help in that capacity. So yeah, guys, I feel like this is a very, very nice set and has a lot of applications. Some of the better characters in the game right now are defensive-based characters. You can even put this at this point on a character like Kay if you really want to. And yeah, it's a really nice set. I would say that specific defense fighters are going to benefit from it more than others, but yeah, rates are going to be the biggest thing. Now, next up, talking about the new option, Fancy Female Ninja, you're going to have an increase to attack by 5% and a decrease of skill cooldowns by 1.2 seconds, with an increase to attack by 13% for 5 seconds, and grants super armor when tagging in. So, this is a pretty interesting set, or option rather, overall. You know, if you really look at it, the first 2 effects are kind of standard, but then when you get to the special effect of tagging in for female fighters, giving them 13% attack and then super armor for 2 seconds, that's pretty powerful, especially on characters like Athena or Elizabeth in Lunatic Guild Raid, adding again to their survivability. So I feel like this is pretty good. I don't feel like it is something you absolutely 100% have to go for, nor do you have to go for multiples of it. But it is definitely a very nice option card to get alongside the set pulls that you're going for, as well as the finishers for these new SS characters that you're going to be going for. So if you get this, definitely going to have its uses. It is niche though, being that it is a tag-in option. So that is going to be that. Now moving on to the finishers, we're going to quickly go over these. Athena's finisher is a 3PG, and she recovers her HP by 8% when using it. So that is going to be very nice that she has further survivability. As a defense fighter, she's already pretty tanky, so adding even more survivability to her kit is always going to be beneficial. Very similar to Boss Syndrome Omega Rugal's HP increase when he uses his finisher, so it's nice that she has it. But again, this is not going to put her over Mai, in my opinion, because Mai is just going to be, obviously, the winner of this banner. So next up, speaking of Mai, we'll take a look at hers, because hers is also a 3PG and does have its own effect, which is decreasing damage received by 50% for 5 seconds when she uses it. And there you go, guys. That's your cards. Overall, I think that you should probably at least go to pity once on this and try to get your finishers. If you have a bunch of rubies, definitely try to get the set, but it's going to be very tough unless you're very lucky. So overall, it's going to come down to, if you're a new or intermediate or beginner player, I would go to pity 1 time on the characters, go to pity 1 time on the cards, and try to get your finishers, prioritize those. The set is pretty much a luxury if you get it, if you are on a budget. If you do not have a budget, if you have all the rubies you need, or you just spend money on the game, then you pretty much are going to already go for all this anyway, so you don't need me to tell you. But at the same time, I do feel like we can just go to A3 on these characters at that point if we have a ton of rubies saved up, and we'll be fine. And then that way we can probably parlay some of that into further pulling on the card banner for the set. But all of this stuff is worth having. It just comes down to how much you're willing to invest. So if you're a big fan of either of these characters, definitely worth the investment. This is definitely good stuff, and in my opinion, very powerful. So Next up, we're going to take a look at the stones, which are pretty much going to sew up these characters and are what really puts them over the top and puts them on par with some of the best characters in the game, if not better. And basically, the way this is going to work is it's going to work the exact same way as the BS ones did. So basically, each time you awaken these characters, you will be able to pick a stone. And overall, these stones are pretty powerful. Basically, the way this is going to work, you guys, is every time you awaken either Athena or Mai, you will then unlock one of the corresponding stones for whatever slot that they have unlocked when they were awakened. So you can do that 1 through 3, and then on the 4th awakening you will be able to get the enhancement hammers, and that will help you to build these up. Now, I will tell you guys there are going to be several things in part 2 of this video that I am going to be going over, which is going to include these stones in detail, because I do not have full details on every single one of these stones yet. What I can tell you is what you're seeing here with the circle stones, for instance. You are going to have options for attack, defense, and HP. Those are going to max out at 10%. For the ones that are going to be mixed stats, meaning attack or HP and defense, those are going to max out at 6% respectively. And then on the power charge, that is going to max out at 15%. And then on the subsequent stones, which you will not see here, the active skill damage increase on those is up to 10%, and then the DPS reduction that is provided is a 30% at max on a 5-second duration with a 15-second cooldown. Again, I will be bringing you guys more of an in-depth look at those tomorrow in that video, which will be part 2 of this video, for time purposes, because this is already going to be nearly a half-hour long video, and we will also be looking at the other details that we weren't able to go over, as well as some of the other things that were covered that are going to be coming out with tomorrow's update, including a new pass. So also to keep in mind with this, there are data mines as well as other bits of news to go over in that video. So tomorrow's video is already pretty much set, and I will be bringing all that to you tomorrow, including the details on the leaks for Kim 2001 and the SS memories. So to summarize, should you summon? Well, it depends on how many rubies you have. If you're somebody that has the ability to, and you do not have a good burn squad, and you don't have Elizabeth, this is a no-brainer. You should go for it. Mai in particular, I'm going to leave a link in the description to Steven's pull video. He already has both these characters at Awakening level 5, and from every DPS metric that he has run, Mai is going to out-DPS even Boss Syndrome Omega Rugal. And then Athena is going to be a upgrade over Elizabeth in Lunatic Guild Raid, although if you already have an Elizabeth maxed out, you can kind of skip on this and you'll still be okay for the most part, even if she is an upgrade over her. So with all that being said, if you're somebody with a ton of rubies, definitely go in, but for those of you who are kind of below that kind of threshold, 27k, so you can go to pity on the cards as well as the fighters, and that should be good enough. Hopefully you can Awakening level 1 them, and later on we will be able to get memories for these hopefully in a fairly easy manner. Now, one big thing I do need to throw in here towards the end, there is going to be a secondary video that I am going to do today. It is going to be a short one, but there is a huge collaboration update for you guys as it pertains to my channel collaborating with many others. We are going to have an event on Saturday that we are going to be streaming. I will have the full details on that in this secondary video, so look out for that. It will be very exciting, but mark your calendars, Saturday, 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So you'll need to adjust accordingly depending on your time zone, but you won't want to miss it. Now, with all that being said, you guys, this has been a very long video as it is, so I'm going to get out of here. Good luck to all of you who summon on this banner. If you skip it, then good luck with your saving. If you do summon, though, I hope you get what you want. If you haven't already done so, make sure, if you like daily content on King of Fighters All-Star, like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. You all take care. Peace.
Continue.